Hi friends, it is so lovely to see you this morning. We have a mother and daughter in the courtroom today because when family vacation went awry, someone had to pay. The plaintiff decided to surprise her family with coming out on the holidays, in both sense of the word. She brought her girlfriend along who was a surprise, to say the least. Now, when her mom didn't react the way she would like her to, the plaintiff said, "Enough is enough, I'm out of here. Give me my money." But herein lies the question of, is this justified? So friends, grab your coffees and let's jump into this case.
Your Honor, I paid for a room in a Airbnb. It was a cabin in Lake Tahoe. Myself, my mother, my father, my brother, and his wife. I've been kind of looking for an opportunity to actually come out to my family as bisexual.
Okay.
My girlfriend, her name's Brianna, she was going on a holiday family trip at the same time I was. Her family ended up coming down with COVID. Their trip got canceled, and I felt sad thinking about Bree being alone on the holidays.
Okay. Now, Shaw, who is this to you?
This is my mother.
Oh, you done brought your mama to court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Wow. All right, so you brought your mama to court. Okay, go ahead.
I decided to bring Bree with me. Upon arrival, things were a little awkward maybe, but nothing crazy until lunchtime. My mother was talking to my brother and had identified Brianna, as my friend, which I took the opportunity to correct her and inform her that Bree was in fact my partner and that we had been living together for the past about 6 months.
Okay.
I've never known anyone in my family to be homophobic, so I didn't really think of anything going wrong necessarily.
Yes.
But it was very clear to me that my mother was very uncomfortable.
I'm not.
Were you
homophobic.
uncomfortable, Ms.
No,
Shaw?
I'm not homophobic. I was not uncomfortable. I just was very taken back by her showing up with a guest and then to tell us all at that time that she had a female partner, which she never shared with the family ever.
So you want to sue your mom for your portion of the family trip?
That's correct, Your Honor. So we kind of split the cost amongst the family.
And how much was the cost you sent?
I sent in $1,133.
All right, the amount you're suing for.
That's correct, Your
And
Honor.
do you have evidence that you sent that in?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
I'd like to see your evidence, please.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Did you Zelle it or did you pay cash? Did you write a
Zelle,
check,
yes.
credit card?
It was a Zelle transaction.
You Zelled it. All right, so you have proof of that?
I do. And Your Honor, I did want to kind of acknowledge why I'm requesting this money back.
Okay.
It would be one thing if my mother was paying for the whole cabin, right? Because when our little discussion while we were making dinner together started to escalate a bit, she said, well, it's, quote, my house, my rules, which isn't true in this case, Your Honor, because I paid for my room.
So your $1,133 entitled you to an entire room to yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was never ever discussed. Like I said, she just showed up with a guest, and we all agreed to pay this amount.
Did you all pay equal amounts?
Yes.
How many bedrooms were there?
Well, there was 3 bedrooms and a kid's room.
All right, so there's 4 bedrooms and there's 4 people, 2 are couples, but they paid the $1,000. So it's reasonable to assume that each person would get a room.
Well, my issue was, Your Honor, that I have values, and even before her brother was married, when he would bring his girlfriend on trips with us, they weren't allowed to share the same room. And so we just asked her that she respected our wishes and our values as far as, sleeping in a separate room just at night. They would be spending all day together.
So you said, listen, she can stay, but you guys can't sleep in the same room together.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm so sorry, if I may. My mother seemed fine with Bree staying in my room initially. So, I think when she was like, oh, this is just one of her friends, like they're having a sleepover, a slumber party, whatever way she was viewing it, she was fine with that. But as soon as she learned that Brianna was my romantic partner, Then the tone shifted, and this to me felt more like she was uncomfortable with my sexuality.
I can honestly see both perspectives in this case. I, for one, definitely grew up with a mother who said, "You're not sleeping with your boyfriend." My step-siblings would come with their partners for holidays, and of course, they'd all be sleeping in separate beds until they got married. So I understand growing up with a mother who holds those values, and I understand how the plaintiff might have perceived that as her mom not being okay with her having a girlfriend. She may or may not be okay with it. She never explicitly stated whether or not she was okay with it until here in the courtroom where she said she didn't have a problem with her having a girlfriend. It was the fact that they are partners and she didn't want them sleeping in the same bed on their family vacation. Now say what you will about it, whatever your opinions may be, but that is the sentiment she held. Now part of me is thinking maybe the plaintiff was already having an assumption of how her family was going to respond. She already had this idea in her mind that her family was going to be upset. That's why she hadn't revealed it to them. And she explained how she basically said it out of the blue, correcting her mother. And to me, that kind of comes off as not exactly the best way to explain it to your family that you have a girlfriend and that she's not just merely a friend. It would be understandably shocking to learn that this girl that you assumed was just your daughter's friend is actually her partner, and why it took so long for her to say something about it. So I feel like there's a lot of heightened emotions happening from both sides that could have muddied the situation a lot and caused a lot of assumptions to be held. But I feel like if it got to a point that you felt the need to leave, then you kind of have to just take the loss at that point. If you're making the decision to leave because of the energy being off or the perceived anger of your family members or you being angry at your family members, that's still your choice. Nobody told you to leave, nobody forced you to leave. You did that on your own volition. Whether it was warranted or not, you still did it on your own. But then to go so far as to sue your mom for it is a little silly to me, because I feel like that's just further driving a wedge in your relationship.
Were you uncomfortable? Did it take you by surprise when your daughter said, actually, Mom, Dad, I'm bisexual, this is my girlfriend, and I brought her as well?
Did it take me by surprise? Yes, but was I uncomfortable? No. I love my daughter, no matter who she wants to be with.
Who curated this trip?
I believe my mother and my father both picked out the cabin together, but we all had a selection of different ones to pick from. We all kind of collectively chose which one.
Is this a yearly thing you guys do, vacations together?
Most years we try to, yes.
All right. So why does she owe you your portion? It sounds like she was fine with it. And even if she wasn't giving any indication. And you're saying that you felt like the environment got hostile? In what way?
When my mother and I went into the kitchen alone together to prepare dinner, my mother seemed upset with me. And when I was, explaining to her that, Bree and I had been living together for like 6 months, I didn't think this was going to be a big deal considering she asked if I was bringing anyone. My brothers brought people in the past rather unexpectedly.
So when she asked you, were you bringing anybody, what did you say?
I said, not at the moment.
Did you think, Ms. Shaw, that your daughter was going to bring someone after you asked her?
No, she never indicated, or even a simple text saying, hey, I'm bringing somebody.
So get me to the place where all of a sudden you feel like your mama owes you something.
Well, I felt as though I had paid for my own room. I'm an adult. You can't dictate what I do in a room that I paid for, especially if it's not within her own actual house. And the discussion my mother and I were having in the kitchen, there were some voices raised. Bree ended up coming in to try to diffuse the situation, and my mother started yelling at Bree.
What was she yelling?
Stay out of it. You don't know what's going on. That made me feel a certain type of way.
I don't believe I was yelling. I was probably using a firm voice, asking Bree, can you just let us discuss this? It's between her and I.
Your Honor, she was yelling.
All right. And so was Bree upset, or was Bree just like, hey?
Bree was crying.
She was crying?
Yes.
Because your mom told her to stay out of it?
Yes, and she also felt just generally not accepted, the way my mother was acting and reacting. This obviously was not, I guess, how Bree anticipated it would go down first time kind of meeting the parents.
I don't know how, coming unannounced. And this has nothing to do with being bisexual.
Honestly, if I were Brie, I would be upset at my girlfriend for putting me in that situation. Like, how disrespectful can you be to your own partner to bring them to your family's home where you yourself claim that you aren't out yet, that they're not going to be supportive, and that they don't know that she's even your partner? I mean, if I were in Brie's shoes, I'd be like, so are you gonna figure that out? Because I don't want to be a part of this. And I especially wouldn't want her to announce it in some snarky tone after her mom says that they're friends. She could have taken her mom to the side. She could have warned her mom. She could have come out to them previously, or, not at all. Just let it slide. Let them believe that you're just friends. And maybe when you're feeling confident enough to come out to your parents, then you do that. Then you have an actual conversation instead of an emotional outburst. I feel like the plaintiff is neglecting to see her role in this and choosing to put all the blame on her mom, to paint her as some sort of homophobic old lady, when in reality she's just your mom who was shocked and maybe even a little hurt that you didn't even think that you could express this to her.
Well, not to mention the fact, Your Honor, that I had already pre-purchased tickets for our ski, and I was planning on paying for everyone's dinners while we were there, so that was an extra person that I wasn't aware of that was coming. And I never asked her to pay me back for the ski tickets.
So you didn't do anything. What happened? Why are you suing her? You say she owes you for your portion. You didn't stay there?
I did not stay there. Myself and Bree ended up leaving, especially after the conversation with my mom did start to really focus on my sexuality. Well, why didn't you tell me that you were bisexual? What else are you hiding from me?
I was more hurt, Your Honor, that she didn't share this with me because, I felt that we had a good relationship, that she could have told me about her, what was going on with her life. And so I think I was just a little bit taken back when she showed up and threw this bomb on us. And it wasn't like I was angry at her. It was just the whole situation.
Your Honor,
you felt like if that's something you want to talk about and reveal, if this is another level of your life you want to share, our family vacation isn't the time to do that.
Correct.
So you felt like she had picked the wrong time.
Yes.
Not necessarily the wrong person.
Right.
Because you didn't even know the person.
No, not at all.
All right, so you all left and now you want your money back.
That's correct, Your Honor, because although, I could understand my mom's position that maybe she felt hurt or I was keeping something from her, that's fine. But whenever I tried to de-escalate, it felt like she was escalating. And I just didn't see any way that myself and Bree could stay where it would be anything but arguing. I mean, it seemed like nothing I said or did made my mother feel any better.
So let me ask you this. You seem to be a smart young woman, and you seem to be intentional with your words, your thoughts. Why is it you didn't just say, hey, before I show up on the family vacation with a new girlfriend, especially since I've been bringing boyfriends to meet them up until then, but regardless, I'm showing up with someone that wasn't a part of our plan. They didn't know they were coming. I don't care who it is. Why wouldn't I just call in advance and say, hey, Mom, I want to bring someone. Is that okay? Because you understand, even bringing someone new into the family dynamic, it changes the entire vibe of the trip because they don't know them. They're not used to them. Now everybody's entertaining the new person, trying to make sure they're comfortable. Maybe everybody just wanted to relax.
Certainly. I felt when she asked if I was bringing anyone else, that was, number one, kind of like an open invitation to do so.
Got it.
She didn't say, don't bring anyone else. But additionally, I didn't know, again, I hadn't come out to my family yet. So to me,
so
it wasn't
that you hadn't come out and you were trying to bring your girlfriend into a situation where it would be hard for your parents to maybe act disappointed or treat her in a certain way because you're at a family gathering. And so I'll say it here and that way everything will be cool and nobody will say anything.
No, Your Honor. The reason I did it this way was honestly because, again, I've never known my family to be homophobic.
Okay, first of all, if you're bringing somebody to a family vacation and your mom asks, are you bringing somebody? You say no, and then you think to yourself, maybe I'm gonna bring my girlfriend, who my parents do not know about. You would think you would pick up the phone and at the very least, even if you weren't gonna come out right then and there, say, hey mom, actually, change plans, I'm bringing somebody. Easy. Takes away the surprise, takes away the, well, we had all these plans, and now we have to figure out new plans, and communication. It's really simple. But showing up to the vacation with your girlfriend, kind of unannounced, and then to drop this bomb of information that she's in fact your girlfriend, and now you're introducing your family in this kind of awkward way to your girlfriend. Yeah, what did you expect to happen? Like, that's an awkward situation. You can't just show up with a person that wasn't expected to be there, and then in the middle of a conversation where your mom innocently says, this is your friend, like, actually she's my girlfriend. Everyone just got so upset and we fought and I just couldn't see how I could stay there. It's like, girl, you quite literally caused this situation to happen. And if you didn't know your family to be homophobic, then why are you assuming that they are now? When your mom is straight up saying it's not a problem of whether or not it's a girl or a boy she's dating, it's all these other extenuating factors. And the plaintiff is just completely disregarding it and wanting to pull the homophobic card to gain some sort of empathy from the judge, which I don't think Judge Lake is really giving her any of it.
If I was Bree and you said, hey, come on and go to my family cabin with me, I'd have been like, because I haven't met them yet. I don't care if my plans did get canceled with my family. I'm not going. Or I would have said, well, did you ask your mom and dad?
Right.
I was hoping that my family seeing me as happy as I was would.
I get it. You didn't go about this the right way. So, Ms. Shaw, let's just cut to it. I'm not saying your feelings weren't hurt. And look, I'm also not saying that the discourse and the disagreement between you and your mom, that it wouldn't be reasonable in your mind to say, well, I wonder if she's just arguing like this because I brought a woman with me and not a man. Mm-hmm. But being a mother and thinking about this situation, thinking about curating a trip for my family, everybody coming, I've got an idea of who's going to show up. I've decided I'm paying for all the other things. All you do is pay your part of the Airbnb. I'm covering everything else. And then bringing another person, that's not okay. That's not even okay to do to somebody's house that you don't know, bringing someone they don't think is going to be there.
So I felt like my brother had done it so many times. I just didn't think.
Well, let me tell you about that too. And this is a tough fact, but it is the truth. Sometimes boys and mamas, they get away. Look, everybody in the audience is going like this.
You're not wrong, Judge.
Boy, and it's not right.
Yep.
I was a daughter too, right?
Yep.
But sometimes boys and their mamas, boys can be a little bit more raggedy, and somehow mom will just figure out how to work it out.
Boys really be doing the most raggedy things, and a lot of them have moms that will continuously make excuses for them. As a daughter in a family full of boys, don't even get me started on the inconsistencies of expectations. I'll just put it that way.
Now, I don't know if your brother was bringing girlfriends or just extra friends and showing up. So your mom's saying that he never brought anybody that she didn't know.
And Honor, this is about her making the choice to leave. And she's trying to ask for this money back. And I love my daughter. And since she was young, she's always gotten everything she's ever wanted from us. But now she's an adult. And she made this commitment financially. We all did. And she chose to walk out. And so I feel like she should honor her commitment.
And that's the key. You chose to walk out. You weren't kicked out. I haven't even heard testimony today that would suggest that Bree was kicked out, right? No one was. You got upset because whatever reaction you wanted, you didn't get, or because somewhere deep inside you, you knew this wasn't the time to bring an extra person to my family's gathering. And again, this has nothing to do with the fact that you're dating a woman. You'd already walked yourself into a situation where you were going to second guess anything that happened.
Your Honor, everything was fine,
because you didn't just do what you were supposed to do.
Everything was totally fine until I had corrected my mother and said she was my romantic partner. Prior to that, everyone was getting along fine. Things were great. We were making plans for the day.
Do you think they could have not gotten along even after you said it? It may have required you and your mom having a conversation, or you and your dad, but you didn't give it that time because you decided this was toxic. I don't want to be there. I'm leaving. So the way this court sees it is you paid your money in a group setting, right?
Yes,
Once
ma'am.
you paid it and the Airbnb was secured, the deal was done. Now, you bringing another person didn't really change the deal because two people could be in every room. There were too many other options to resolve this before you got pissed and just stormed out. And for this reason, this court does not believe that your mom owes you back the $1,133. And look, I'm going to tell you another, I'm going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you another thing. As a mother, I don't care where you are or what you paid. When you go and you spend time with your parents, you're going to always be their little girl. They're always going to have something. They have to say that you should do that, and you should honor that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't believe your mom in this situation was going to throw either of you out. I think you all needed a minute to talk through things, and you didn't give it that time. And you decided to leave. And when you decided to leave, you decided to lose your money. With that said, judgment for the defendant, plaintiff's case is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
Honey, I love you. I'm sorry it came to this, but I hope we can still do family trips together.
Like I said, I understand both sides of the aisle today, but I do think Judge Lake made the right call. I feel like the plaintiff was just being overly emotional about the situation and neglected to make the effort to work through it with her mom. She just kind of blew up and then decided, I'm not going to take this, and left, but that doesn't negate the fact that you already paid to be there and you chose to leave on your own volition. Nobody else should be punished for that fact. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this case. Do you think her mom was actually being homophobic and decided that they couldn't sleep together because of that? Do you think the plaintiff was being overly emotional and deciding to leave? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.